like to go through the board.
Well,
Move the question.
I think, Ken?
Well, the only thing that I wanted to say is, like, for instance, the difference between a suggestion, I believe, legally under employment law, and giving someone an order is, let's say if Julie went in and told Mr. Ritter, oh, I would like if you did it this way as herself. He didn't do it, so the board voted and he was terminated. If it was just a suggestion, he would still be able to collect, like, let's say, unemployment compensation because it wasn't willful misconduct. He didn't violate a direct order from his supervisor because the supervisor is the board. If they first met, took a vote as a board, said we want Mr. Ritter to wear a green tie on Mondays, and then he didn't, and then they terminated him, he would not be able to collect unemployment because that was willful misconduct because it was a direct order. I don't know if that clears it up at all, but kind of what legally is actionable.
Oh, I was just gonna answer the question, if I could, if I can. I think it's, you know, it's really splitting hairs. Obviously, you're gonna, if you go in and you need or want Sue to do something, you're gonna ask her if she can do it. But if you go in and want to change a policy, you obviously can't do that without the board approval. You know, if we come in and we may suggest something to Mr. Ritter, whether he does it or not will be up to him because we haven't voted on it as a board. And we can't go directly to Kate and tell her to do something because Mr. Ritter is her boss, not, I mean, we are technically, but Mr. Ritter is her direct boss, not us. So, go ahead.
Right now, we're having a discussion about whether to vote. Mr. Ritter brought a question up to the board for discussion, okay? In order so that he could get direction from the board, all right? So we would need to take a vote. He didn't ask Chris in the office when he came in to sign some bills, what do you think we should do? He's doing it in public, at a public board meeting, so we can have this discussion in public. So you all know what we're deciding to do. And that's where the authority will come from the vote of the board.
Hold on. Can you just see if the noise has gone out in the hall so we can open that door? I'm dying.
Break that window,
Yeah, it's still out there. Diane, you were first.
Through you
Yeah.
to Ken, how can they hire and fire and not direct the employee?
They can't.
Oh, no, I was speaking of the Board of Selectmen in particular.
No, but
Oh, right.
if my board
Yeah,
voted to hire me
yeah,
and they still direct me,
yeah.
how can they hire and fire me if you're saying now that they legally should not be directing?
The board as a whole can direct. The example that I was just using is the difference between if the individual on the board, not speaking negative to the board, if the individual on the board gives an order, whether or not that order is legally actionable or enforceable, or whether it's just a suggestion. So the board as a whole.
We're getting into legalities. and we don't need to do
Well,
that.
I have one more statement. I can guarantee you, if one of my board members asked me to do something and I didn't do it, I would be fired. 100%
Well,
They can't
technically, your boss, your direct boss is Mr. Ledger.
My
So-
board is who hired me.
No, it's his, that's his board.
Right.
That, yeah, I mean,
Mr. Ledger is your
I can
boss.
guarantee you, if I don't do what they
Yeah.
ask me to do, I'm out of there. Guaranteed, 100%.
they should do it as a board then. I mean, anyway,
I
that's,
would complain about
all
it.
right, hold on. I want to move on. Yes, you had your hand up.
In essence, what you were just talking about, you're all saying that it's the board or the commission or whatever that directs Sue. Then how does she set policies if they're setting all the policies?
This is true.
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
Okay, my board does not set policies. What I do comes under Mass General Law and the Department of Revenue. That's who tells me what to do. As far as policies, I believe it's the personnel policy, if it's a snow day or if it's snowing out. I can't just say, I'm not gonna close the office. I can't call an emergency meeting of my board and they can't, they could vote, but they can't overrule your policies.
Right.
And my rules, what I do in my office and what Luann does is all done by Mass General Law and the Department of Revenue. I can't all of a sudden say, gee, I'm gonna give motor vehicle abatements to everybody who drives a white car in town. And that's my policy, and my board can't make that policy.
All right, Bob, and then I wanna,
Yes, I wondered if you could take this under advisement so we could move the question.
we don't have to move the question. Well, what I was gonna say is, I think what Jeff had started to say is, he's gonna just tell the negotiators that we're still trying to figure out the department head issue, but he'll move on with the
With the other
administrative
people.
assistants.
So that can move on
And
while we're.
then we have to get a
So-
definitive answer on who is a department head and who's not, because I think they're right, they probably shouldn't be considered department heads, either one of these two. Now, what about Kate? She shouldn't be considered a department head either,
No,
right?
Kate is in another category because she
Exempt employee.
has to be in on negotiations and subject to, that's another whole
Yeah,
rule.
whole different
All right,
issue.
so I don't know if we even need to take a vote on that.
No, I'm just looking for guidance. I've got a sense of the board, which is I'll tell them we're gonna work on it and
Okay.
we'll continue the discussion.
All right.
That's all I need.
Update on Baldwin Road.
You have in your packet, this dated March 18th, 2013, I was asked to conduct a market rate analysis for 252 Baldwinville Road. I have done so. You have the report from Warren Real Estate. Obviously, the last page is the most interesting part where it says, subject property 252 Baldwinville Road is, as of March 2013, in the range at a commercial real estate auction of $330,000 to $350,000. The reason to bring this up is, first of all, notify the public that a commercial value has been set on that property, and we must do, if we are, and I've been directed in prior meeting to dispose of the property by this board, what would you like me to set as the so-called minimum reserve price, AKA the minimum bid that will go on the request invitation for bids? It's an IFB. There will be a sealed bid, and we will open it here by prior notice. This will take about a month to execute. It has to go in the central register, in the newspaper, yada, yada. I just need to know what number is the minimum bid.
Three thirty,
I was gonna say, let's try the low number.
yeah,
330?
as a minimum.
See
This
where
is
it
now
goes and
public
if
record now.
and if we don't get anything,
Well,
then we'll have to move.
that appraisal should stick for a while, and
Yes,
that's what
Bob.
it is, it's the same appraisal.
Why don't we start out at 400,000 and let it sit there for, it's not like we have to sell it tomorrow.
Well, the reason why is if you put that as a minimum bid and they know that the value is this, no one's gonna bid on it. If we put a
Well, they have
minimum
to
bid
go-
of
I'm
330,
not telling everybody that's the value.
have to
They have
tell
go
everybody.
figure
so
that-
you have
This is
to.
public
This is
record.
Public record.
It's gonna be announced in
rub it
the
there.
invitation,
They
the
might
minimum
think
bid
it's
is
worth
X,
400.
whatever X is.
But hopefully, if they know it's gonna be a public bid, then they'll,
Got it
they
400,
really
go
want
to
it.
church.
Yes, Dave.
Is the value of the environmental
send the bid
testing that's been
package
done
to
on the
the plan?
property sellable on top of?
Not on top of that, he considered that in
Consider
the,
that as part of in this value, that it has a clean title. Yeah.
And I think
It has a 21E, clean 21E.
it has a clean 21E, and I think the driveway, the
Permit.
conservation
It has
permit.
plans.
Everything's been clean on it.
and it
So
has.
do you wanna
town
vote on
hall
that, or you
inside.
just
I
generally?
think, yeah,
I've
so let's
heard
get it
330.
going.
So let's make,
330 is what the board, and
So
the
Julie-
consensus was 330, so
Right, well-
I'll put that out as the,
I'll make a motion and then we can talk. So
All right.
I'll make a motion that we put 330,000 as the minimum bid for 252 Ballinville Road.
Second,
now, any other discussion? Yes?
In setting the minimum bid,
Yes.
that doesn't necessarily end up saying that that's what it's gonna be sold for.
no.
This board can end up, even if they get the minimum bid, reject it.
That's
So I mean,
correct.
people gotta understand that.
Yes.
Just by setting the minimum, that's a starting point for us to take it, end up trying to sell that building.
That
Yes.
wording will be in the bid, right, Jeff? Yeah, absolutely.
and we don't have to
We-
accept any bids.
You can reject all bids.
Yeah.
And you, by doing this, it says, we will reject any bid below 330. We're just not gonna consider your bid if it's below 330. But we will reserve the right to reject all bids.
All bids.
That is always a right that you always put in.
So, Pat? Yes. Virginia?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have old What?
Just a quick question, Jeff, was all the building site plans, were
Yeah.
those all, I know you want to get it, so do I. Was that all taken into consideration in the bid, in the appraisal?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had copy,
No,
access.
the guy on the end wants to
I've
get
only
out
got
of here.
8 more sets right here, anybody who wants one.
Mr. Michigan.
Too bad.
Yes, Bob.
Yeah, I got some old business. Back in February of 12, I did a complaint, an open meeting law complaint regarding the Board of Selectmen in the fact that they weren't being very correct with the website in notifying people of the times and the schedule of the Select Board meeting. And I just, of course, the Attorney General reviewed this for, a year and 2 months, took a lot of consideration there, and finally got me back April 2nd, a reply that says that the board does not have to do anything but post their meeting notices up behind the glass down at the town clerk's office. Which, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen anybody go by that board and look at that board in my long, lengthy life here in town to find out when the select board meetings are. So I think it's way more important that the select board get their meetings right on the website.
I think we had
In
that
order to
discussion.
do that, you have to file that you are going to take a action that says that you will use that as an alternative site.
I think we did that.
You did. Thank you very much. I'm very
did not
glad you did that,
plan to-
because the next time you don't do it right,
I
you'll be
believe
in
we took that
violation.
vote already, didn't we? That the
Yeah,
website was
we
gonna be our.
actually took.
Thank you.
Yeah, we-
I did get somewhere.
That's what changing the bylaw.
Right, it's
on
it's
the
on town
bylaws
floor
and
to
the
be
warrant
changed
article.
on the
So make sure you
annual town
come and
meeting
vote.
warrant.
I'll be there to vote for that one, be sure.
Okay? I don't know if we want to have some discussion about virtual town hall.
It's funny, I was gonna throw it in under new business, which we aren't to yet. I did not plant that guy in the audience.
I ain't done yet.
So we'll bring it under.
Are you all set, Bob?
With that question.
Okay.
I got new business still.
Oh, okay, we're not there yet,
We're
right?
not there yet.
All right, so nothing else on old business?
That's it.
All right. Action on appointments for poll workers. I hereby request the following people be appointed until June 30th, 2013. Poll workers, Ida Bean, Jessica White, Kathleen McAuliffe, Samantha Anderson, and Shirley Smith.
Move to accept those poll workers until June 30, 2013.
Second,
Any discussion? None. Pat?
Yes.
Julie?
yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
All right. Bud's not here?
Good.
Serious spirit.
I like that. Action on a Chapter 90 request.
This is to move the legal expenses for the Baldwinville Road project off of the town. We've paid them, but they're in a holding account.
Okay.
They are eligible under Chapter 90. We had the discussion last summer that these expenses would be paid for under Chapter 90. The accountant challenged me on this. It is because it is land title work. You cannot bill road law charges to Chapter 90, but you can bill road land title charges to Chapter 90. So, education, but this is just a motion that we need to actually move off these charges to Chapter 90, and Bud and Jean have gotten all the paperwork for you here, the accountant.
So moved.
Okay. do I have a
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Yes. I think it's
11,500.
11,500.
Soup to nuts, that's the whole shebang.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions? Seeing none. Pat?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
Do you have the original in the office?
We do.
It's right here.
And so before we leave Chapter 90, everyone is aware of the announcement that there is a $500 million proposal on the table, of which $300 million is Chapter 90, as opposed to $200 million. I've received a letter, I don't think it's in your packet, I have the original in the office. The Templeton pro forma allotment is $513,000 some dollars, which is a good $175,000 in 14 more than we had in 13. This is good news.
If it happens.
If it happens, it's pro forma, it's not signed into law. It is in the town budget. I have planning on it.
All right, licenses for
Yes.
ice cream barn and all steamed up. Let's see.
Well, there's another chapter 91.
Oh, is it two? No, I think it's just one.
No, that's
Just
the paperwork for this.
Yeah,
I'll
just
let it-
two pages.
So we
Okay.
got
One
two,
down by 2 pages.
The first one is Cheryl Rhoda, DBA, all steamed up, 377 State Road. Granted a common victual license through December 31st, 2013.
so moved.
Second,
Pat?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Virginia?
yes.
Okay, second one. Templeton Ice Cream Barn. Now,
Yeah.
is it been sold? Or is it being sold? Because there's two names on
Is
here.
this a new owner?
It is a new owner, and he was here, did he leave? He was waiting and waiting and waiting.
Is
Oh,
it
I've seen him on the hall.
Who's the owner?
Jason Cooper? Or what's it? I can't even read it.
I think that's Jason
Jason
Cooper.
Cooper? He's the new owner of the ice cream barn?
Of the business, not the building.
Oh.
Business only.
Oh, okay.
I think the
And the kids were,
Yeah, two little kids out there.
yeah.
Oh,
Waiting,
that was
waiting,
him.
waiting.
So
That's
he's
it.
looking for a common vic license for Templeton Ice Cream Barn, 7 South Road, Cumberland, Mass. through December 31st, 2013.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion? Pat?
Yes.
Virginia?
yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Okay. Action on authority for treasury payments.
Okay, a couple of times we've had complaints from some employees that their, what is the name of that account?
They retired, they're,
The
Great,
retirement,
great.
the 457B account, Great West
Was
Retirement Services.
being taken out of their pay, but because the warrants were not signed in time, sometimes two of them would come the next week instead of both going out each week as they should. And that, because it's a retirement account, that takes away from the interest that they would have gotten on the money. So my proposal was that we allow the treasurer, well, this is what I wrote, to Dan Keeney, treasurer or current treasurer, in an attempt to ensure the timely payment of certain mandatory warrant items. The Board of Selectmen has voted the following. The treasurer shall be allowed to process payment of payroll withholding to the appropriate financial or government institutions without waiting for signed warrants. All other payroll or vendor warrants items shall be continued to require the signature of a majority of the Board of Selectmen before payment.
There are 4: federal withholding tax, state withholding tax, this voluntary employee retirement plan, and Worcester County retirement. They are mandatory, you can't avoid paying them, you have to pay them on time, you get penalized if you don't pay them on time, and there is no reason to hold them up whatsoever, except we wait for 3 signatures on a warrant, and you miss a weekly cycle, and then you're behind.
have we made sure this is legal to do this?
Not yet.
Chris,
Okay.
Pat?
will this change with the new payroll system that Dan was proposing?
Yes, it will. The problem, we don't have problems with the others because they're bank wires.
Right.
All the other 3 are bank wires. This one has to be a paper check, and that's the whole problem. And with the new system, Dan's assured me that it will probably be a bank wire in any event. This is maybe belt and suspenders, because with a bank wire, it's the problem of getting the check, getting it signed, getting it bursted, mailing it to them, even though they have a post office box in Boston. It's still 3 days before it gets credited to the account. So,
So that's my motion.
I will second.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. Oh,
So, are we gonna do this pending?
yeah, I think it's pending a proper legal review, because it's better to ask forgiveness than ask permission. You know?
Well, I don't know about that.
Whoa, wait a minute.
If you sign this conditional on having it
Condition.
approved, conditional on having it legally approved by town financial council,
What he said.
that it is a legal, and that this document is a legally binding document, because what Virginia has written up, which I endorse, I have no idea whether this is consider it a legally binding document or not. It looks good, but until an attorney with financial knowledge looks at it, I don't guarantee that it's gonna actually hold water.
Yeah, maybe we put it on town letterheads.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is kind of off the subject, but not really. I don't know if this is happening to anybody else, but I'm still having the OMBRA withdrawn out of my check. It doesn't show on the stub, but it's taken from my check, as well as Worcester County Retirement. You guys are on the hook for over $400 to me. Because both retirements are being taken from my check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an accounting
Either one or the other.
I don't
issue,
know if it's
problem.
happening to anybody else.
No,
So that needs to be addressed with Dan, right?
yeah, and well, it's the accounting, it's the old accounting
Right.
software that we're abandoning. This causes problems. And
This is good.
Diana's right, and it's unique. We can't even understand why
Yeah,
it's
they
doing
weren't-
what it's doing.
I couldn't even get federal taxes to come out of that check.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
All right, so the motion's been made and seconded, pending the legal, okay. Pat?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
So I'll tell you what, with that, don't sign tonight. I will get this on letterhead, I'll get it approved, legally vetted, and then you can sign if it's all washes.
Yep.
Jeff? The Rico copier.
Okay, you have information in your packet. Carol Harris has a copy machine that's, actually, it was working today. It's
Well,
limping.
sort of.
Sort of, it's kind of limping along on one leg. I have a quote on the state office contract, off 32 as it's known, from Rico. We have 2 Ricos here. This is a recommendation that we replace her existing 11-year-old copy machine, a Savin, with a pretty much same model. It's not as big as the one here. It's about half the capacity. This is a 4,000 series, and this proposal's for a 2,000 series. I think it's really good equipment. It never breaks down, and I've used it in other towns. And it's the Commonwealth has beaten this thing to death. It's a really compelling price. The only real issue is whether you will endorse a contract and whether you would like to lease or buy. And I would recommend that we lease because the terms and conditions of the lease are very good. We're leasing this machine right here in the hallway. We're paying Kate, help me, $108 a month? A month? That must be a 4-year then. Yeah, I have terms on 3-year, 4-year, and 5-year leases. Naturally, the monthly rate is more if you pay it off over 3 years than if you pay it off over 5 years, at the end of which you own it. So the detail, which you really don't have in your packet, is 36-month lease to own is $127.91 per month. 4 years is $103.02 per month. And a 60-month lease is $88 per month. So that's $127. You pay it off in 3 years, $103 or $88. How long do you want to make payments on the machine? And typically, you have some life after it's paid off. So, you know, the longer you stretch the payments out, the more likely it is by the time you get to the end of the payments, it's dead. It's worn out and dead. So, again, this is, you know, one of those pay me now, pay me later propositions. Oh, another point of information is, should we consolidate in this building as we are hoping to do? The assessors likewise have a Savin copy machine that's just as old, probably purchased by the town at the same time. I'm guessing that the clerk and assessor both bought those machines at the same time. We would make every effort to put them very close to each other in this building so that they share this new copy machine between the 2 of them. It's very much my thinking.
Makes sense.
That's the price for 3 years, $45.72.
Yes.
Is this lease also including the maintenance of the supplies?
Everything but paper and toner. Everything, you buy the paper and toner.
Because I just negotiated a lease on 14 Rico machines that included the toner, maintenance, lease, and I would think you should be able to get the toner.
Well, this is whatever the state deal is, because it's a state blanket. I negotiated nothing, I called the guy on the phone. When we sign a 2-page state contract. But let's see.
The first 3 cartridges are
Yeah, first,
included.
yeah, three cartridges. The stapler, you know, it includes a finisher stapler.
So you have to go with the state contract, you can't negotiate your own terms?
If we go with
Yeah.
the state, we don't have to do an RFP.
Yeah, no, you can negotiate through an RFP. You'll never see these prices if you try to negotiate at retail. This is about 50% of retail. It's about half price on the total cost of the machine. Yeah, the toner's not free, nor is the paper.
Free installation, setup, training, and free haul away of an old copier if you desire.
Could also be got 14 of them with plain one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buy them in number, you get a better price. Which one would you suggest, Jeff?
What did you do?
I did.
You know, well, I hear, I always go like 4, because 3, you want to push, you want to own it.
Pat did the
But
math.
then I back off and say, well, 4, because 5's too long.
Yeah.
So it,
And that's the kind of equipment you don't want to buy. It
What-
wears
what-
out,
exactly.
Yeah.
once your lease is over, the maintenance
What's
costs
the-
you a fortune.
Okay, Pat's got the cost if
Yeah.
3-year, 4-year, 5-year.
3-year was 4572. The 5-year was 6180.
Yep.
And the 7-year was 7392.
No, it's 3, 4, and 5.
3, 4, and
Oh,
5.
3, 4, and 5.
Yeah,
I thought you said 3, 5, 7, I'm sorry.
His math is wrong then.
yeah.
And if you
That's
buy
right.
it,
So the 3-year, the 40, the price though, if you give them a check tomorrow is $44.51.
right, if you buy the whole thing
You buy
outright.
it, kit and caboodle right now.
49, 44.
So the factors are actually 03041, 02449, and 02102.
5280.
So it's 45, 72, 49, 44, and 5280, 3, 4, and 5-year total.
Do they all use the same copy machine down there in that building?
Yeah.
The clerk, the conservation, and,
There's a
No,
small-
actually, there's another one
There's
out
a
in the
small portable,
hallway
yeah,
down
you know
there.
what, that's already owned by the development office, the COG, Community
Oh,
Government
okay.
Group.
just curious.
But it's a small desktop Rico though, and certainly when we move them out of there, it's gonna be available somewhere for someone.
Well, I mean, the difference between 3-year and 4-year is almost $4,000. I'd say go with the 3-year. That would be my opinion. Because between purchasing outright and going 3-year, it's only
$4,000 in the,
$100.
Office.
Well, I know we're doing it, right, because she doesn't
Yeah,
have it in her budget.
right, she doesn't have it in her budget, and if we do a lease, then we'll build it into her expense line in the coming year to pay the lease.
Right, if we build it into her expense line, then she has to share it with someone else when they get here.
Right, right.
Then you'll spread it.
We'll negotiate.
Okay, just want to make sure.
You can charge her each copy.
Yeah, that, I like that. Hey, you know what, that's good thinking. Dime a copy. Make more money on it.
Quarter
So-
Yeah.
So you want a motion to that
I would like a
effect?
motion.
Okay, a motion for a 3-year lease for a Rico copy machine for the town clerk?
Okay,
Second.
okay. Any other discussion? I know it's hot in here, isn't it?
My only question was gonna be, make sure we can afford it, because if it's not on the budget, and she's already submitted her budget.
Well, that's why she asked us.
Yeah, that's why she asked me to bring it to this group, because she didn't want to.
Well, that's.
Hey, I call them as I see them.
And so we have a motion for a 3-year lease with, for the Rico copier. Lease to own, right?
Right, you own it after 3 years.
Pat?
Yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Bob has more business.
There's still one more thing.
No,
Will
two.
wants to talk to us about East Templeton. It better be real fast,
Depends on you.
or you can wait till the next meeting.
The top portion of this is about the disposition of what's in the building. You'll see that there is also a proposal for what
Yeah, two.
could, what the volunteers can end up doing. And then on the last page, in which it says 2-page, is the actual inventory of all major items in there to be dispositioned. That does not include anything that you move, if you move out of 4 Elm Street, if there's excess, which could also be moved in there. This is an opportunity for the existing departments to possibly upgrade if they have old desks, etc., out of that material before we disposition it in the disposition portion of that, which is the top portion of page 1.
I have a little problem with this because to get the building ready to change over to town hall, that vote has not been taken yet. What you've been doing is trying to secure the building so that it doesn't fall into a total state of disrepair, so we can't do something with it, whether we choose to use it for a town hall or sell it or whatever we end up doing. But I just want to make it clear that that's.
Well, some of these things that I chose there was to actually make the building, no matter what we did, as more saleable, because first of all, we have a heating system that needs to be replaced, no matter what we do. We have petitions in the 2 bathrooms which are designed for children of young ages that probably only come up to about 4 foot, so it wouldn't be able to be used by adults. So by removing those, at least you would end up getting rid of material.
What is this?
They're 2 different things.
Oh, right.
Oh,
That's for me.
we don't know.
Oh, do we need to sign it?
I think we all need
No.
to.
Fine, we're listening. Little confusion over here.
And the rest of it is basically removing miscellaneous stuff off the wall, which the school left. Screws, etc. Things that, no matter who, in some cases, it's actually paper dispensers for paper towels, which could be available somewhere else within the departments. If we remove those are also available. So everything in that building is either remove it, they can end up getting it so that it's saleable.
Okay.
I mean, it's up to you folks. We've already removed some shelves which were not conducive to the town's use. We took boards that the school had in different rooms that we probably, we wouldn't leave it in the building, and they could be used by some departments as boards in their offices. I mean, these are all possibilities.
Dennis?
I got a question. Have we taken anything out of that building except for what the departments needed?
What do you mean taking out?
Well, like you said, is there anything they're not taking out of that building except for what different departments kind of wanted so far?
Only any debris that has been torn down and just discarded because we removed some stuff. It was scrap, basically. It's, it went into the dumpster.
Okay. Well, see, my question is one thing. I was under the impression that building was only supposed to be secured so the roof didn't leak. Nothing was supposed to be done in that building, except it just made it so it was watertight. And also, how do you propose to get rid of, are you gonna put this stuff up for bid with the rest of the stuff's in the building?
Right, they do have a proposal as to what's excess. Number one, we put an inventory. Number two, we say make it available to all town departments.
Right.
That was a second item. We sell that, any other items to the general public, such, because I've actually had people come to me and say, I like that bicycle rack, I like this school desk, or these chairs.
You can't do
They're
that.
willing to, they're actually willing to buy that stuff. You can't imagine how much is in there.
You can't do that. You gotta put up a bid for everything in that material and open up a bid for people to go in and buy the whole business. You can't just say each one individually.
This is just basically a proposal that I'm giving these people.
Well, I'm just saying, legally, you can't do that. You gotta have a bid. Put that up for bid.
That was my understanding.
What I would say is, we can get the list of what's in there to the town offices in case any of them would like something
Right, I
out of
understand
it
that part.
for now.
Yeah.
There's two pages worth of stuff. Well, a lot of it's just kids' desks and stuff, but there are some other things in there.
I want the Winnie the Pooh statue.
Virginia, did you have any?
Yeah, I did. The other thing I was gonna say is, before you have projects for volunteers like removing heating pipes from the steam boiler, you need to make sure that one of your votes is gonna get passed first.
Yeah, they can't do anything till after town meeting, so.
Well, that's why I'm bringing it,
Yeah.
they can see how much the board wants us to go. I mean, that gives us an opportunity to take that metal and scrap it and actually make some money to take and end up putting into the general fund and that they decide how we want to use it in the future. I mean, because all that's gonna come out eventually. I'm just making this as a proposal as to the disposition of some stuff. It's up to you folks to decide how far you want to end up going with this.
Well, I would say, other than this list of items that's in there, get that to the towns, the rest of it, we should take under advisement at least, I would say probably till after annual town meeting, and see what gets voted.
See what gets voted,
So we
right.
can make it available to town departments.
This stuff, yeah.
Okay.
There is some material I
detail
would
this.
deem right now as scrap that the highway department could take and sell because we have an antenna.
Metal.
We can't
No,
do
you can't do
that.
that.
We've gotta allow people to bid on going after scrap.
Right, the highway department would take it, they would put it with their scrap metal.
No,
We
you
can't do that.
Well, we
Mine-
can, we
Yeah, I
can
think we
surplus,
can-
we can surplus the whole, all this stuff.
That's exactly right.
If
We
it's,
can do that.
He's talking about the scrap metal from the boiler.
No, I didn't say the boiler.
I don't think he's-
Remove all heating pipes from the steam boiler.
Heating pipes.
This is the stuff that need to be disposed of. We can surplus this stuff right now, and any metal can go to the highway and be scrapped.
Exactly.
We can do that.
Well, why don't we start with seeing if any of the departments want any of it.
That's what we can do,
Right.
okay? But once it goes to the general public, then we have to follow bid rules.
Christmas tree. Exercise.
Old school
Punching
books,
bag.
we
please.
don't need to go.
Good stuff.
So does somebody want to make a motion to?
I make a motion that we make this material available to town departments, and then we put under advisement how to proceed from there once all the town departments have had their shot
Right.
Right,
at a Winnie the Pooh statue that's 4 feet tall.
and we'll have a bidding contest for it.
Would the board have any objection for us to take and scrape down the paint that's peeled off the walls and clean that place up?
I would have an objection to that.
you can't touch anything.
You can't, yeah, it has to be checked.
Bob?
You don't know what's in it, lead paint? what-
Yeah.
Well,
come on,
Bringing the
Bob.
metal over to the highway, I mean, was there a bid process already done on that?
On the metal?
Yeah.
No, there's been nothing done, that's why
Right, we're just
we're just
making it
doing the
available
excess materials,
to town.
other town offices want them, and the rest is gonna be discussed at a later.
Plastic bread
As
trays.
much as I want that
Just
Winnie the Pooh
curious, you
statue.
said bring it over to the highway.
Well, that's because
Hey,
Bud
wait, you're a
scraps,
town- I think the select board could ask for that, and put it in the selectmen's office.
I would suggest that the lateral files that are in there, that we do not disposition those at all, because they could be used either here or in that building at some particular future time.
Well, I made a motion that we make the materials available. I don't, to town departments, I don't believe it was seconded.
So I'll second that.
anything else? Any
And the rest,
discussion on it?
the rest of it be,
Pat?
Yes.
Virginia?
yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Okay, can the Board of Selectmen ask for something off of there already?
Not now.
No,
Just one thing, there is a 12-foot ladder in there that does not belong to the town, that belongs to Wilfred J. Spring and Theodore Budzinski. We ended up putting that in there so we could access the ceiling and trying to end up saving some things and actually get into the attic area.
Okay, Bob?
Yeah, this is the tying up the new business.
Yeah, go.
Yes, I have new business here. I have a Freedom of Information Act in at the Light and Water Department for public records.
Okay?
And I want to know.
Hold on, don't, yeah, I have an important announcement after he's done, so.
I want to know if the board would, has any information on this. I got a letter from Mr. Driscoll stating that, first of all, he only stated that this was including those relevant to the governance of uncharted town. Said nothing about my request for the part about rescinding the Act of 2000. And pretty much, I don't see where he is saying that because he asked for this, that it becomes not public record. If the town pays for that opinion, then I believe I'm the client. He says that he's going by client, legal, lawyer privileges. Well, as far as I'm concerned, this was the town as a client. And
What do
I
you-
should be able
The
to
town
get
isn't
those.
asking for that, you are.
What are you looking for?
I am looking for the opinion on the rescinding of the special acts and the complete memorandum on the government of Templeton without a charter that the Light and Water paid 10 grand for. I think if the Light and Water paid $10,000 for this, that it should have gotten something in writing, and I think everybody in town ought to be interested in the ramifications of rescinding the special act, and everybody in town ought to be interested in, you know, a charter for the town. So why is this not public information?
You need to take that up with Mr. Driscoll.
And why do I have to take that up there when the town has a lawyer that is the town's lawyer? And everybody in town has to go through Mr. Ritter to get to see the lawyer, but all of a sudden,
Because the Light and Water has their own lawyer,
oh, and
okay?
there's a reason for that? I mean, I thought they were part of the town and, you
They
know,
operate under a special act.
oh, the special act, so I should take this up tomorrow night?
Sure. Knock yourself out.
All right, I have-
Anything else?
I actually have two things.
Go ahead.
One, to follow up with Bob, I'm gonna make the motion, I know it won't go anywhere, but I would like to make a motion that the Board of Selectmen request the memorandum on town governance of town Templeton that was paid for $10,000 by the manager of the light company.
You missed. Anybody gonna second that?
I would think the board would want to know. I mean, what are the ramifications of rescinding the act? What's the ramifications of not having a charter for the town? The Board of Selectmen is not interested in that information?
My next,
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. My next motion is to, that the Board of Selectmen appoint Kirk Machete, member of the planning board, to capital planning. You said
Second.
no.
There's two
I'll
more.
second that one.
There's two there. Okay, Pat, this is to put him on the
Capital planning.
capital planning,
Oh, yes.
so they can have a meeting. Virginia?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Who's carrying any kind of insurance for the volunteers in the school as they're working in there?
They are.
They supply the town with certificate of insurance?
That's, Will? Who's been working in the school? Are they,
They are volunteers, and they are willing to take and end up going and doing what was necessary, and they took that risk.
Are they signing a waiver to the
They
town?
they were all willing to take and end up signing that and going ahead.
Willing to, but did they?
No,
Before they go in,
they were never asked by this board or myself.
Shouldn't have been in there.
They shouldn't be in there without a waiver signed, because they can come back to the town.
They get hurt in there or
All
something.
right, well,
the town's
what about
sued.
the stuff that the Council on Aging is storing in there?
Right.
Are they
It's being
town?
used as storage for a lot of,
You know,
They're gonna have to sign a waiver if they go in and do any work in there.
do we have a waiver, a form?
well, the council on aging is just going in to get.
They're just
equipment.
storing stuff
They're
in
just-
there.
They're not working.
They're not working in the building.
They're not working in there.
They're working.
He's working.
No, no, we have not been working in there. Let me make it clear. Last fall, we did some stuff. We are not working in there. We have not worked there since last November.
Yeah, we did work in there.
That's correct.
And you
We
should-
ended up making sure there was a top on the roof.
Did anybody
That's how
supply
you do it.
insurance to go on that roof?
No.
If you fell off, who could you sue?
Why-
No, we're not.
What is this?
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah,
selectmen's
okay,
meeting?
you know what?
you'll find that some town employees were up on that roof, I'm one of them.
That's correct.
control this conversation.
All right, enough. I think we missed some, hold on.
Okay.
I think we missed something here.
What do we miss?
Mr. Cooper's application to get a common vic license because he's the new owner of the ice cream barn.
Oh, I wondered it, because there was 2 pages with this,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's just the common vic now.
But that's the
Oh, okay, that's
license.
just the act, and we voted it, so we're good, okay, just making sure. Now, I have one important announcement. At our last meeting, when we voted the election warrant, we voted one warrant. It is actually gonna be 2 separate ballots when you go to the ballot. And why isn't Carrie still here? Because I want her to come in here. You and Mark have both gotten this wrong. I need it to be right. The election is at the high school gym, not the middle school gym. High school gym. Polling hours are from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. There are 2 ballots, one for the town ballot, one for the Senate ballot. And then you will vote you will choose if you want a Democratic or Republican Senate ballot. But it's 2 separate ballots. So you need to make sure when you go vote, you get 2 ballots, okay? And it's at the high school gym.
What if you want to vote for the town?
If you only want to vote for one, then only vote for one. Dave?
Take your
I've
pick.
got one more item of new business.
You can have those back.
It's sort of old business, and I've given you this request before. I'm just curious if you went anywhere with it, and if you will, to contact Braver about the audit for the mill.
We have not, because we're letting the light and water do that right now. Because,
I just want to bring it to your attention that Emwick, Templeton Municipal Light, our co-op with Princeton are all in that boat together. And I think just a phone call to Braver to see if there is an issue, we will know who the issue is with. Because we really don't get the straight answers at Light and Water, and it's been
You need to take this up with Light and
over a
Water.
year.
This is a selectmen's meeting.
I mean, if it's just a phone call to see why they haven't got the
All you
audit
gotta do
done.
is ask him. I mean, he can tell you.
I don't see why they-
Shouldn't he ask Light and Water?
We've asked and asked and asked.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to, maybe if,
I know, but we don't want to step on their toes either, that if they.
well, I'm on that board, so. I would say if you guys want the Board of Selectmen to make a call, just to see, maybe that'll shake them up and get them moving.
I'm not looking to get anybody shooken up.
Well, maybe that'll get them moving on the
I'm
audit.
just looking to find out where we are with the
Because
audit.
it's taking
From
forever.
somebody other than Mr. Driscoll, that's all I'm asking. I don't care who calls him. I call him myself. I don't know why you're shaking your head, Virginia. It's just a simple,
Because
simple
I
concept.
feel like we're stepping on their toes now. This is their
Step
problem,
away,
not
maybe it'll
ours.
help them out.
Julie, there's,
Maybe it'll help them out
Thank you.
with the whole situation.
I don't know, if anybody wants to make a bid on that, a motion on that.
I'll make a motion on it. I don't think it's gonna hurt to call. And under chapter 164, section 56, as selectmen, we do have a right to look for audits and reports. It's legal, we can do this. And this is something that has been on the light and water agendas for, I don't know, 2 years now?
Well, I will second it, just so we can move it and get a vote on it.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to add a little more to the mix that, I'm not sure if anybody in this room knows how entangled this audit can get. It involves the inception of the windmill, it involves our commitment with MWEC, it involves our commitment with the co-op. We are talking millions and millions of dollars about this. And what do we have to show for it out behind Gansett? Ask yourself that. And why not have the answer, what's going on with the audit? How much did we spend on it? Next, we can get to the questions of what we gotta go with it to get it fixed, or if it can be fixed.
Well, we've got the motion, and it's been seconded. Any other discussion on it? Seeing none. Patrick? Julie?
Yes.
Virginia? No. Okay. I'll vote yes, but it'll be 2-2, so it's defeated. Any other business?
I passed this out, I just bring to your
Oh, yes.
attention, we had the presentation from Virtual Town Hall.
Yes.
It was a public meeting, we liked what we saw, I am trying to negotiate pricing with them. I will report back to you shortly.
Okay.
He said it's not free. I'll also throw one thing in, the police chief kindly offered to consider making some of his dispatch, because this is a communications issue, so some of his dispatch surplus money at the end of the fiscal year available to help us finance this.
Okay.
So I'll report back at the next meeting.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, you didn't adjourn.
Motion all night.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus, Carrie.
As far as